All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to kick off our media availability with Regan Smith, driver of the number 7 Dale's Pale Ale Chevrolet in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Regan's the most recent winner, earning the victory at Dover. He's now third in points, only 36 points back from Chris Buescher. So Regan, just talk a little bit about last week. You earned your second victory of the season. You moved up in the points. You're now only 12 points out of second. So just talk a little bit about coming into Charlotte, but also this final stretch for the Xfinity Series and how you guys will approach it.
Yeah, well, certainly last week was good. I'm glad we got the race in when we did because it worked out pretty well for our team. And you know, anytime you get a win, it's always makes for an exciting week and exciting race from my perspective. The points, you know, they are what they are. We've got to continue to do what we've been doing really for the past probably 12 to 15 races, and that's just run good and be consistent and you know, let them take care of themselves and get where they need to be. So excited about the speed we've had in our race cars the past few weeks, and definitely, you know, ready to get on the racetrack at Charlotte and go to work and see what we can do this weekend.
And I know it was mentioned last week just how for junior motorsports in the summer you guys really kind of refocused, tried hard to make a run at this championship. You have earned more points since Daytona than any other driver in the series by 7 points. What did anything change? Did things just start clicking? But, you know, obviously you've seen a resurgence of the whole team with both you and Chase earning wins in this last couple of races.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, there's a lot of things attributed to that. We went to work pretty hard. We left Charlotte this first race in the spring, and you know, we had a good run here. We weren't overly thrilled about some things that happened in the race with our car, some things that we didn't expect, and kind of highlighted some areas we had to go to work on. So we went to work on, you know, all those things, and you know, over the course of the summer months, the guys at the shop, the guys, you know, our road guys, everybody's, the crew chiefs, everybody's been, you know, just really digging in deep to try and find some stuff and you know, get us where we need to be compared to the Gibbs cars, the Penske cars, and some of those guys. And you know, I think the results for us have been there all year long. We had some bad luck early on in the season that kind of, you know, dug us a little bit of a hole. And, you know, that stat about after Daytona, you know, I'd say there was even a couple races in there where we ran far better than where we finished for whatever reason. And, you know, that could be an even bigger number as we sit here. So, you know, I'm proud of the effort that the whole company's been putting in and how much work's been put into it. And, you know, we just need to continue doing those same things.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Regan. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. Okay, we'll start with Kelly.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. Regan, the last few weeks you've made it known that your 2016 plans are up in the air. Just curious if there's been any offers away from JR Motorsports that you've been entertaining.
Well, there's a lot of things going on, you know, and it's, as everybody in this room knows, it's a silly season, and people are trying to figure out what they're going to be doing next year, where they're going to be at. So, you know, I'm very fortunate to be with a strong race team right now, and a team that's got a shot at the title if we do the things over the next 5 weeks right that we need to do, and that's what I'm focused on. And you know, next year's 2016, so we're going to worry a lot about 2015 right now, and you know, take what happens as it happens.
All right, we're going to take questions from Kenny and Chris here in the middle. Thank you.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Regan, you weren't running bad before you won at Mid-Ohio, but since that win, you've not finished outside the top 10. How important was that to you guys going into this portion of the season?
Well, it was important. I felt like when we went into Mid-Ohio, you know, even back up a week prior to that, going into the Glen, we had really done a nice job of getting ourselves back into the title hunt at that point even. And, you know, we were at one point we were probably 66 points out, I think, of the lead, and not because we were running bad, just because we had a few bad luck races in there. I say bad luck. I'm a firm believer you make your own luck. So it's, you know, we had a few things we could have done better getting to that point, and then, you know, lost a pretty big chunk of points at the Glen, and you know, kind of the mentality from that point on has been, let's just go do what we can do to win races, and I think there's even been races since Mid-Ohio where we could have done a little bit better. But there's also races where we kind of overachieved and got better results than maybe where we ran. So nothing's really changed. I mean, this team's had good momentum all year long. Jason Burdett's, I can't praise him enough for how good he's done, not only with me, but with the guys on the team, with our race cars, and with everything. And we get to the racetrack, and it's, full kill every weekend, and that's the mentality that we need to have.
How has that changed, though? You say you guys said, okay, we just need to go forward, do what we can to win races.
How is that different from what you were trying to accomplish up until that point?
I guess it's really not. I mean, I guess it hasn't changed. We just don't have some bad races sprinkled in there. The first part of the season, there was a little element of getting to know each other, getting to work together, and maybe instead of getting the top fives, we were getting top tens out of it, where we felt like we should have had a couple of those that were top fives. So you take that little part of the season, new crew chief, new driver, and kind of get that chemistry built. And once that chemistry starts clicking, which it was apparent pretty early on it was gonna, there was a lot of things I saw that had me really confident in where we were going to be at once we got to the middle stages of the season. And that's because of the hard work that they've all been doing, and because of Jason and his personality as a crew chief.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Chris Knight, catchfest.com. To piggyback on Kenny's question, NASCAR's Xfinity Series next week will end a pretty hefty consecutive stretch of 15 to 16 races. How would you guys feel like that you guys have performed in that stretch, and is there anything that you can take from that stretch that you can apply to Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead?
Well, I think we performed very well. There's a couple places that we maybe didn't perform as good as we wanted to, but given the circumstances, we got everything we could out of those races. So through that stretch, I think we've been as good as anybody. I feel like we've had some areas that we had to improve on as a company, and we've worked hard to improve those areas. I think we've made gains in those areas. Are we all the way there? Probably not. But is anybody all the way there? I guarantee you that the other teams that we're racing against every week are still working to find new stuff and find more speed too. So that's just the nature of the beast. You're always trying to find more and always trying to get that next advantage over the competition. But I think the performance has been good.
All right, we're going to go to Woody.
Woody Kane with MRN. Regan, I was just wondering if you think a lot more people know who Jason Burdett is now, and if you've been giving him any grief about that whole deal last week.
Yeah, that was funny. I don't know that I've ever heard of that happening before. Just to highlight the story a little bit, we actually myself and Jason spoke to the gentleman that was the fake Jason on the phone this week for some stuff that we were working on that if it's not out today already, it'll probably be out pretty soon with JRM 360. And I guess it wasn't the first time that they've done that. It's just the first time he's actually sat down and done an interview as somebody. So nice guy. I mean, had a fun conversation with him, and it was pretty interesting to hear his story. I'll let the JRM 360 kind of throw the rest of it out there, but it was pretty cool to talk to him, and I didn't know what had happened when I walked in the media center. I had no clue. Somebody said Jason just got punked or something, and I didn't think that much of it until after the fact. On the airplane ride home, I saw some of the videos and saw some of the stuff.
All right, any additional questions for Regan? Regan, before we let you go, we know that the NASCAR Xfinity Series Most Popular Driver campaign officially launched this week. You've had the opportunity to win that award a couple years ago. Just talk a little bit of what that means for the fans and how they kind of get behind voting for their favorite driver, but really what it means as a driver of the series to be able, at the awards in November, to be able to stand up and know that, the fans voted you the most favorite for that particular season.
Well, I think, we all know how passionate the NASCAR fans are, and in particular about their drivers. So it's neat to have an award that they're that big of a part of. And, from a driver's standpoint, it's, one of the biggest things that you can get is an award that says, hey, your fans took time out of their day to vote for you, whether it was every day, whether it was just once or whatever it may be. It's a special feeling, and I know, whoever wins that at the awards banquet, it's always a very neat deal, and from my standpoint, I I got that sitting right next to any other trophy I've ever won, you know, and I'm very proud of that. And, you know, would love to get another one this year. We'll see how it works out. There's some pretty stiff competition to get that with one of the guys that I race with in the same team, but we're going to try to get it.
All right, Regan, we appreciate your time today. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys.